think I've been taking pictures with my film camera for about 2 years now. I think I got initially interested in film photography just by I would see this really pretty picture on Instagram or something, and then under the caption would be this film stock taken with this camera, and I was like, oh my gosh, the pictures just always looked so dreamy and magical. I just love how old they look, so I was like, I want to try that.
I first started photography when I was maybe a sophomore or junior in high school. I remember I really became inspired after looking at a lot of Instagram photographers over COVID.
I've probably been taking pictures since I was an 8-year-old kid. The difference between digital and analog is really interesting. I think chiefly because you don't get instant feedback. Analog played into my work years ago in a really direct way. I did a body of work where I would take a photograph, I would make a print, and then I would hang that print in the same space. And then I would back up and re-photograph it with a little bit of context around it. So I actually photographed a hanging print in the same space. So I think analog really worked into that. I suppose it could be done digital as well. But back then I was still working all in analog. You know, we would hang our prints up to dry. So it was kind of related to that, I think.
I shoot digitally primarily because I usually take more than one picture, of whatever subject or whatever photo I'm looking for. I take so many variations of that picture. And I edit my photos with Affinity Photo. I shoot in RAW usually. It helps a lot with changing perspective a little bit, any spot healing I need to do, any level adjustments.
I'm very intentional when I go out to take my film photos, and I feel like usually that's in nature a lot of the times. It's in nature.
Usually I listen to music when I am out on a walk or out with my camera looking for subjects, and usually I try and apply what I'm seeing to the song I'm listening to. I will always choose a digital camera for a moving subject over a film one. One of my favorite places to shoot is air shows, and just the speed at which planes are flying makes it difficult to get satisfying results with film cameras. Static subjects are something I would always prefer to have a film camera with, though. One of my favorite photos I've ever taken, I backpacked up to Machu Picchu at sunrise, and I was one of the first people there that morning, and the sun was just coming over the surrounding mountains. I was able to capture essentially the ruins and the surrounding valley just with the first rays of sun.
There's this one photo that I really like, my very first roll of film. I was so excited to use my camera for the first time, and I just walked outside my house and started walking towards this field that's, during the summer, is just a big field of wildflowers. I framed it just perfectly against the sky. There's one big flower, and I think there's a little bunched one behind it.
There's a picture of my father. I tell my students when I show them this picture, I'm talking about light exposure, how to meter an exposure, do I want a silhouette or not. But I also talk about the fact that there's this painted glass in between us, and I think it represents how sometimes fathers and sons can't always talk about things very well. So that painted glass is a barrier between us.
I see film as a medium with a lot more personality to it. Depending on the camera you got, depending on the film stock, the rest of it is truly beyond your control.
Why do some of us love analog? I think it is the physicality of it. Light hits something out in the world and it goes through the lens and it burns itself into that film like memory.
I think part of my attraction to film is like capturing memories, and I think specifically with like film photography, I think just the way that they look, and it's like they're like how grainy they are, and also just like that sort of like misty, warm, kind of cozy, old feeling is really, really nice in capturing the people and places and things I love.